A hard-fought loss for the Toronto Raptors as they lose in Cleveland to start their road trip. Let's go to the film room. Thought it was an uneven offensive game for Scottie Barnes. Had a poor first half, bounced back in the second half, but where he didn't struggle at all was on the defensive end. Just great activity off of the ball. Here he is, digs down for the steal on Mobley. Raptors are out and running. This was an incredible defensive play. Watch him close the gap on this double quickly, gets the steal, gets out and running, and forces the foul. That's not only using his length to be this deter on the perimeter, but that is incredible timing from Scottie as well. Thought he had some really good possessions on Darius Garland. Here he is staying with him on the perimeter, forces him to pick up his dribble, then digs down on this drive by Ty Jerome, but unfortunately doesn't get to Darius Garland on the relocation. And so that's a bit of the good and the bad there on the defensive side. But this is the good. So here he is, follows Garland on the drive, forces him left, gets the steal, and a beautiful pass full court to RJ as the Raptors run out. Another great possession on Garland. Here he is, staying with him. Again, contains a drive, using his length to be the deter, gets the block. Raptors are out and running. This is part of the Raptors' run to end the third quarter. I just loved Scottie's tenacity at the point of attack. Here he is, forces a turnover from Ty Jerome. Again, I think a part of it is buying into the system that the Raptors are doing when it comes to swarming the ball on the defensive end. Scottie is buying into that. Yes, it results in tons of gambles, but I think it's gambles that he's willing to make with his size and length and activity. And this was probably one of the best possessions of the game. I mean, here he is in the post against Mobley, does a great job of staying with him, staying strong, going chest to chest, and gets the block, and he screams in his face going down. And so, yeah, I thought it was a very, very good defensive game for Scottie Barnes to tack on to an incredible performance on Thursday or Friday against the Timberwolves. Yeah, Thursday against the Timberwolves, where he led them defensively to a win. I broke it down in the previous recap about that last 3-minute stretch in the fourth quarter of the Minnesota Timberwolves game where Scottie just took over defensively. Every single possession, he did something in order to get stops and get the Raptors out and running and then force that win for them. That didn't happen tonight. Cleveland is a much better team that is playing much better. They shot the piss out of the ball today, truthfully, and that limited a lot of what the Raptors can do to contain them. I mean, they still ended up scoring 122 points. That's what they averaged per 100 possessions. And so they made them get to their average. So if you look at it statistically, it wasn't the best defensive performance as a whole from the Raptors, but they stuck in this one. And I think the reason they were able to kind of grind it out and stay within striking distance pretty much all game was because of their defense. Their offense really struggled tonight. And I think part of that was the size and length of Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen inside. RJ Barrett had a good game, but not as effective as you'd love him to be. Jakob Poeltl struggled against the size of Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley, and I think that's a matchup that's just tough for him, truthfully, with the mobility that they have, plus the two guys coming at you at the same time. That's tough, right? I also think that attributed to Scottie being a little bit uneven to start the game. You know, his first 5 shots were 3-point shots. He took 7 shots in the first half. I believe the first 5 of them were 3-point shots. Either way, 5 of his first 7 shots in the first half were 3-pointers, right? Not that aggression that you would have liked from him to set the tone in the game. And I understand, you know, he's wearing his glasses, so I think part of that is mental, like getting across that. He actually got dinged in the eye today, and the glasses flew off as well. So, it's working through that process of dealing with the glasses and, finding your aggression and finding your spots. But I do think he had a much better second half of being a little bit more assertive, picking his spots, trying to get into the teeth of the defense. And against the Cavs, you need that. That's why in their home opener, when they didn't have RJ Barrett, they just got mollywopped. They just got destroyed because they didn't have anybody who could get into the paint of the defense. And Scottie is a huge factor in that too, because Scottie needs to get into the paint of the defense. You know, he loves to operate in that area. He's incredible when he uses force. And so it's much harder to use force against players that are taller than you. And I think that's something that comes with this Cavaliers team. They're just a really tough matchup for the Raptors. That being said, I think the Raptors fought well. I think the reason they fought well was because of how engaged and active Scottie Barnes was on the defensive end. And truthfully, I think there's a lot that can be said about what Scottie can bring on the defensive end. I mean, this is a guy who last year for a majority of the season was playing all defense level basketball. And so I think he's tapping into that aspect of his game more as he notices that RJ Barrett is taking on more of a scoring role, as Grady Dick is stepping up offensively, as Jakob Poeltl is an offensive hub. Like, this is where Scottie can shine. And that doesn't mean that he's not going to be able to get his own offensively or be a passing hub. He had 7 assists tonight, and he made some nice dimes as well, especially in that second half as the Raptors made their run. But I just think that's a place where the Raptors need him a lot. And the Raptors' defenses look better as of late over the last couple of weeks. They've locked in. You know, Davion Mitchell has been good for them. Ochai Agbaji has been good for them. I think Jonathan Mogbo, who I'm going to talk about in a second, was really good for them. Jakob Poeltl has been great. And so the Raptors' defense has been better as of late. I think they will be much better with Scottie Barnes in the lineup. Sampson and Lewis broke it down in their recent mailbag and what he's doing to impact the game on the defensive end. But I just see that we're noticing it already over the first 2 games that Scottie Barnes is back. Want to talk about Jonathan Mogbo, rookie. As some of you guys know, I'm doing some in-arena hosting for the Raptors 905, and it's been tons of fun. I don't have – it's like getting out of character and being like, all right, guys, what's going on? It's very different than doing this and talking to you guys about the analytical side of the game. But at the same time, the rookies were out there for the first game that I was at. So Jacoby Walter was there, and Jonathan Mogbo was there, and DJ Carton was there, and Jamison Battle was there, and Jamal Shed was there. All of them played except Jonathan Mogbo. And I think it was because he had such a big night against Minnesota. You know, he played 20 minutes, was really, really impactful. I broke it down on what he did on both sides of the floor. Played a great game again tonight. Scored a career high, was able to get into the teeth of the defense, and was just massively impactful on the defensive end. Him and Scottie in that second quarter really limited the Cavs offensively with their dynamism on the defensive end. Let's break it down. First of all, offensively, this is going to be a huge shot from Mogbo going forward. The little push shot in the short roll. That is going to be somewhat of a make or break for him offensively. The more comfortable he is in that area, the more weaponized his passing can be. Not an easy task to stick to Donovan Mitchell like this on the perimeter. Mogbo does it pretty easily here as he gets the stop. Another huge development point for Jonathan Mogbo is hitting these corner threes and being able to expand his game out. That's his second 3 of the season. I'm not expecting him to turn that corner this season, but the fact that he's looking confident taking that shot and being willing to take that shot is a huge step forward for him as he develops the other aspects of his offensive game. He is going to stay on the floor for his defensive side. The defensive side is what's going to streamline minutes for him in order to focus and work on this offensive side of the game. Great activity here. Pokes the ball out on Mogbo, gets the steal, gets in transition, forces the foul. Here he is in transition, passes it to Grady. I love the offensive rebound here. Just dives for it and gets it. I love his tenacity on the offensive rebounds, and I genuinely think he's one of the best offensive rebounders in the NBA just with his timing. He had 5 against Minnesota, 2 tonight. Again, more of this, dribble handoff with Jakob Poeltl, just settling into this mid-range floater. I think that is huge for him moving forward because he's such a good passer. I think he has a really, really great feel as a passer, and weaponizing that short roll area where he can get those push shots, kind of like Jakob Poeltl actually, will only allow him to do more with his passing. Probably his biggest defensive play of the game. Raptors are on a run. Garland gets Jakob off his spot, and then Mogbo with the block, helps side rim protection, gets the rebound. Raptors are out and running. And here, a really nice dime from Scottie Barnes. Mogbo catches it inside and finishes through. And so Jonathan Mogbo had a career high in points. He had tons of defensive plays as well, where he was just so impactful on the defensive side of the ball. And man, was he great. Like, he was just incredible tonight. And so, yeah, the Raptors lost this game. I don't think it was a great offensive game for anybody, really. I thought the Cavs did a really, really great job of limiting what the Raptors could try and achieve on the defensive end, on the offensive end. And ultimately, the Cavs just shot really incredibly well. They were making everything. Ty Jerome had a really, really great game for the Cavs. And so there's this trickle-down effect, right? Ultimately, Cavs are a really good basketball team. They're 17-1 now, And so you're going to have a tough time against a team that's playing that well. That's about how hard of the analysis that you'll get tonight. It's hey, they tried really hard They fought hard and kept it close against probably the hottest team in the NBA. That is the positive side of things. The negative side of things is that like they could have been better offensively. I thought Scottie was timid at certain points, aggression wise, and maybe that is the glasses, maybe that's something else, maybe it's the matchup. Who knows? Would love to be able to ask him that question, but I think ultimately it is going to be a feel-out process for this Raptors team, especially against really good teams like the Cleveland Cavaliers. You chalk that up and say, hey, man, you competed hard, you stayed in it. I think the most important thing that you guys can take away from this is that the Raptors, no matter the competition and no matter who they're playing, like they are going to work their asses off. Like they are going to grind in this game. And I think that's a testament to the team that Darko Rajakovic has coached and developed and instilled confidence in, because he has now made it so that these guys are willing to go out there and just grind, like really, really try very, very hard. And even though the talent disparity is there on certain nights, especially with the injuries and you're facing a really good Cavaliers team, sometimes the talent disparity will be there. But I think ultimately you have like such a massive margin because of how hard you compete. And they did that defensively tonight. The offensive side of the ball is different, but they did that on the defensive side of the ball, and that's what kept them close against the Cavaliers. They have the Detroit Pistons. They're going to be facing them, and so maybe Detroit is the team that they can kind of steal one from, if you will. I would expect them to be honest with you, just because I think, realistically, Scottie Barnes is back. This is a team that they should be able to beat, truthfully. And so we'll see what happens. We'll see how they bounce back. I think given what I've seen from this team, they're going to play incredibly hard. I'm very excited about the bench group, and maybe Bruce Brown comes back. We'll see what happens with that. Maybe Jacoby Walter gets something. Oh, I forgot to mention Grady Dick. Right, Grady Dick left the game with calf soreness. And so that is just, it's rough. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Hopefully it's nothing massive or important or anything like that. Maybe it's just calf soreness that he has to deal with over the next couple of games. But we'll see what happens there. We'll provide updates as we hear them. As always, like, comment, subscribe, do the things that you guys always do to make sure this goes to other people and so that they would be able to enjoy it as well. Bless you guys. Thank you very much. Peace out, y'all.